All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about a completely new way to look at ClimaTech. And look, this isn't about planting more trees or just feeling good about your carbon footprint. Not at all. This is about hard science, engineering, physics, and how they're unlocking a massive new engine for profit. So let's dive in. Yeah, you heard that right. Right out of the gate, the source material just throws down the gauntlet. The message is pretty blunt. That whole conversation we've been having about climate tech, the one that's all about corporate responsibility and those glossy sustainability reports, it's time to forget it. Something much bigger, much more fundamental is happening.
So let's just get this straight from the jump. The old way of thinking about climate tech, it's over. It's obsolete. This isn't about trying to make shareholders happy with a nice report anymore. No, this is about something way more primal, the actual survival instinct of industry itself.
And this, right here, this flips the entire economic model on its head. It's a shift from idealism to just pure pragmatism. The source tells this great story about a welder whose hands were shaking while he was handling explosives. Building a robot to do that job wasn't some green initiative, of course not. It was about solving a real, terrifying, life-or-death problem. That's the new climate tech. You solve for survival first, and you'll find the profits follow right behind.
And you got to understand, this isn't some niche, feel-good trend that's going to fade away. What's happening is a quiet but incredibly powerful revolution. This is moving out of a small corner of the VC world and becoming a core industrial market. And it's all being driven by pure necessity.
So, what does this new market actually look like? Well, it's defined by a new equation, a formula where the main goal is just building better, more efficient infrastructure. And here's the kicker. Decarbonization becomes the incredibly profitable byproduct of doing that.
And we're not talking about some hypothetical number here. We are talking about a $150 billion market. That is the sheer scale of the opportunity when entire industries start making decisions based on their own survival, not just on pressure from the outside to be green.
So the source breaks this whole new equation down into three simple parts. You've got the rule, the secret, and the trade. Let's walk through each one because this is how it all clicks together.
Okay, first up is the rule, and it's really simple. You have to get back to basics. Customers, I don't care if they're individuals or massive corporations, they don't actually buy a green label. They buy a better product, something that lasts longer, breaks down less, or, just saves them a ton of money on their energy bill. It's a physics and chemistry problem first and a marketing problem a distant second.
Next up is the secret. And listen, this one is absolutely crucial. The companies that are winning in this new era, they're not setting out to build climate tech. They are laser-focused on building fundamentally superior infrastructure. A better power grid, a more efficient heating system, a stronger supply chain. And the incredible part is, these superior systems also just happen to print money and decarbonize the world. It's a win-win.
And finally, we have the trade. The whole financial argument has been turned completely upside down. For years, we all talked about the green premium, that extra cost you had to pay for the sustainable option. Well, now, that premium is just the cost of entry. The most profitable projects, the ones with the highest return on investment, they're now things like solar and battery storage. They become the default, financially smart, de-risked choice.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually put this into practice, right? How do you play the game? Well, the source lays out a very clear winner's playbook, a framework for anyone, whether you're building or investing in this new world.
First things first, you have to spot the real grind. The big money here isn't in some other carbon offsetting app. No way. It's in the unsexy, gritty, fundamental pillars of our economy: logistics, industrial heat, chemical processes. Think about a startup that captures waste CO2 from a cement factory and turns it into jet fuel. That's where the real value is being created.
Second, you have to learn how to bend the policy curve to your advantage. Government programs like those Department of Energy loan guarantees, they're not just free money. They're a massive market signal. If you win one, sure, you get de-risked capital, which is great. But way more importantly, it's like a stamp of approval. You can walk into a VC meeting and basically say, hey, the government's top scientists, they already did your homework for you.
And this just brilliantly nails how you should be selling this stuff. Forget pitching sustainability goals. You walk into a CFO's office and you say, I can lower your third largest operational cost, energy, and I can lock in that price for the next 25 years. That is a conversation they will always take. You're selling to their bottom line, not to their conscience.
So all of this leads to a core principle for building a business that actually lasts in this space. It's all about creating an advantage that's rooted in hard science, something defensible, not just something built on clever marketing.
So here's the crucial takeaway. You have to build a moat of physics. Don't be the AI for recycling app. That's just a thin software layer that someone can copy next week. No, be the materials science breakthrough that makes solar glass 30% more efficient. You patent that formula. That is a real defensible moat that no amount of marketing budget can ever cross.
And when it comes to measuring your impact, you need a totally different mindset. I love this metaphor the source uses: measure with a chainsaw, not a scalpel. This is not about tiny, incremental, hard-to-see gains. It's about making a huge, undeniable, and super easily measurable impact.
Which brings us to a really tough question you've got to ask yourself. Is your climate impact a real, hard business metric? I mean, can you track the tons of CO2 equivalent you've avoided with the exact same precision and seriousness as you track your quarterly revenue? Because if the answer is no, you might just be building a marketing campaign, not a real, durable climate solution.
Okay, so let's zoom all the way out. What is really at stake here? This isn't just another tech boom. We could be looking at the single greatest value creation engine in a generation. And that's because, for the first time, it perfectly aligns the profit motive with planetary survival.
And this totally reframes who you're actually competing against. Your competition isn't the startup down the street anymore. The race is so much bigger than that. You're competing against the fundamental laws of physics, and you're competing against the clock.
And to make this really concrete and really urgent, just look ahead to 2025. I mean, that's right around the corner. By then, the very idea of a separate sustainability strategy is going to sound ridiculous. It's just going to be your supply chain strategy. It's going to be your energy strategy. It's going to be your core business strategy, period.
Which really leaves us with one last provocative thought. In this new world, there are basically two roles you can play. You can be the one on the ground, actually doing the work, integrating cost-cutting, resilience, and decarbonization into one powerful business advantage. Or you can be the one still sitting on the sidelines, just writing the report about it. The only question is, which one are you going to be?